Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Today, we are exposing one of the most dangerous and damaging fatwas in the modern history of the Ummah. The fatwa that allowed the American military, the very forces of the global Crusader alliance, to enter the land of the Haramain. A decision that split the scholars, shook the Ummah, and opened the gates to decades of foreign control, military occupation, and moral decay in the heart of Islam. In August 1990, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. Saudi Arabia feared Iraq would next target their oil fields and cities. But instead of turning to the Muslim world or relying on their own defense, the regime turned to Washington. They invited American forces, hundreds of thousands of non-Muslim troops, into the sacred land of Tawḥīd. But they couldn't do that openly without religious cover. So they turned to Ḥabd al-ʿAzīz ibn Baz, the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, and he issued the fatwa that made it happen. He ruled that it was permissible to seek military assistance from non-Muslims in times of necessity, under Muslim authority, and for the defense of Muslim land. He attempted to justify it by citing stories from the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, such as hiring a non-Muslim guide during the Hijrah or entering into treaties with certain tribes. But these comparisons are weak, misleading, and dangerous. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, never brought disbelievers into the Arabian Peninsula as a protective military force. He never stationed foreign troops in the land of revelation. And when he conquered Makkah, he expelled the idolaters. He did not invite them. He, peace and blessings be upon him, commanded, "Expel the polytheists from the Arabian Peninsula," and "Two religions shall not coexist in the Arabian Peninsula." These are clear, authentic hadiths from Bukhari, Muslim, and others. They were not ambiguous. They were not conditional. They were violated. And the Quran itself says, "Never will Allah grant the disbelievers a way over the believers." Surah An-Nisa, verse 141. As for the classical scholars, Imam Malik said, "It is not permissible for any non-Muslim to remain in the Arabian Peninsula, not as a resident, and certainly not as a soldier." Ibn Qudama, in al-Mughni, stated, "It is haram to permit the disbelievers to remain in the Hijaz." The hadith is clear, and there is consensus on this. Ibn Taymiyyah wrote, "Giving disbelievers military or political authority over Muslims is forbidden by consensus." So what justification remained? Ibn Baz claimed it was out of necessity. He said it would be temporary. He insisted the foreign forces would remain under Muslim control. But history exposed those claims as false. The Americans never left. More than 30 years later, U.S. military bases still occupy the region. Troops come and go freely. The sacred land of Islam has become a launching pad for Western war campaigns, from Iraq to Afghanistan to Yemen. What was labeled as protection became humiliation. What was justified as necessity became long-term dependency. But not all scholars were silent. Safar al-Ḥawālī condemned the fatwa, calling it betrayal and humiliation. Salman al-ʿAwdah warned that it would bring only disgrace and subservience. Ḥamoud al-ʿUqla ash-Shu'aibi issued fatwas declaring it an act of kufr to surrender the Haramain to disbelievers. And then came the one who would become the loudest voice of protest, the Shaykh, bearer of Tawḥīd. He exposed the betrayal in words that still echo to this day. He said, "They have sold the sacred land to the enemies of Allah." That act removed their legitimacy forever. And he was right. You may debate his methods, but his words were true. The fatwa of Ibn Baz opened the gates, and once those gates were opened, foreign powers walked through them and never left. Today, The scholars of truth are in prison. The ones who remain on TV and pulpits are carefully selected. They give fatwas for concerts, normalization with Zionists, gender mixing, and everything that weakens the Ummah, but they remain silent on occupation, treachery, and the disgrace that began with that one fatwa. This is not wisdom. This is betrayal. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The worst of people is the corrupt scholar." Musnad Ahmad, and he said, "Whoever is silent about the truth is a mute shaitan." Reported by al-Bayhaqi. This fatwa was not a matter of ijtihad. It was a violation of the Prophet's command, peace and blessings be upon him. It gave military authority to the enemies of Islam. It violated consensus, and it humiliated the Ummah. May Allah grant us knowledge built upon Qur'an and Sunnah. May He protect us from false scholars who sell their religion to please rulers. And may He raise among us callers to truth, scholars of Tawḥīd, and leaders who fear none but Him. If this message was beneficial to you, like it, share it, and follow this page so the truth can reach every corner of the Ummah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.